Welcome back to another ChaoticCorp podcast episode on season 9 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. It has been long enough of a wait for this show. I'm very excited that we just got to watch episode 1. I think they originally told us that we were getting this show back in like 2018 or 19. Scott, do you remember when?
Yeah, I want to say 2018 because it's been a long time in the making. We've been waiting for this for a long time.
We definitely have. I'm not gonna lie. I remember being in my physics class, and we were watching like just fan-made trailers, and then this trailer for the Kenobi show came out of nowhere on YouTube, and I was like, "Holy crap, is this real?" Because I was like in that whole class, like pretty much the only like really big Star Wars fan. But I remember we were watching the Kenobi trailer, and it was like a fan made, but it looked so real, and I thought it was real. Because like at one point in the trailer, he was like in what seemed like the desert, and he was talking to himself or talking to somebody around a campfire. Instantly, I thought he was talking to like Maul, or like this was keep in mind, this was before Rebels came out. So, you know, the event of Rebels obviously wouldn't pertain to that, but I thought he was freaking talking to like ghost form of Qui-Gon, and like at some point of the trailer he was floating in midair. So I have no idea. If I could find that trailer, I will like dissect that thing, because I have no idea where that last little bit was from. Like, it was literally what seemed like Evan McGregor. I'm not sure if it's Evan McGregor or Ewan McGregor. I think it's Ewan.
Ewan.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor literally floating in midair and like crisscross applesauce, like meditating. And I was like, that's no, like that's what really made me believe that was a full-on Kenobi trailer.
Crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, like no joke, no freaking joke. So I don't know why, but as soon as we started watching the show,
He's like,
I instantly remembered that.
Oh, that's great.
The episode really started off with something that I didn't expect them to do, which was a total like blast from the past from episodes 1, 2, and 3. It was
that was a nice little recap.
Yes, it was like probably the best recap in my opinion, and I'm sure they'll probably do more for each episode. But you know, we can only hope. But yeah, no, I thought that was really nice. It was a really good edit.
Too. And I like that after the recap, we saw that they actually open up on Order 66.
Yes.
And I could have sworn that was the same scene that Grogu was saying, or something similar, but clearly they're definitely...
Yeah, I know why you're thinking that.
They're definitely pulling from Order 66, which I think is awesome, because that's like when this whole thing kicks off, and that's when, you know, the failure of the Jedi happens. I thought that was an excellent... Because like, I was like, a little concerned, because like, people were like, oh, it's not going to be as dark as it was, and then, you know, everyone's like freaking out. Like,
exactly.
Just calm down, everyone, you know, calm down, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I did freak out, because I was like, there's no way that they're gonna frickin' start showing Order 66 right off the bat. And as soon as they showed Coruscant, that's exactly what I felt. I was like, holy crap, are they giving us yet another form or perspective of Order 66? I mean, I love it, but at the same time, it does get old after like, you know, event like
it does
a bit.
But it was nice to know that some kids did get out, but Anakin didn't just slaughter all of them.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Scott. I don't.
They probably did.
They probably didn't make it out.
No, because like the only ones we really know that made it out were Obi-Wan, Yoda,
Quinlan Voss has been rumored to make it out.
Quinlan Voss, the guy the main Jedi in Rebels, not the young kid, the older guy who goes spoiler, he goes blind.
Oh yeah. I can't.
Wait, I want to say Aid. Oh, hold up! I know his name. Hold on.
We have not watched. No. To spoiler alert for the viewers, we have not watched like barely any of Rebels. I mean, I know we should.
I've actually seen it quite a bit. It's actually very good.
Okay.
Highly underrated show.
It's I'll agree with that, but I can't get past season 1. As soon as I get past season 1, it's all uphill or downhill from there.
Yeah.
I know
It's
that
all
for a
uphill,
fact, but
honestly, because Vader comes in and then it's like, whoa.
right.
And then there's other characters and you're like, whoa.
Right. No, I don't know what it is. I really just can't get past season 1. Season 1's so bad. I'm like halfway through it. I actually me and Tristan were watching it together, and then I actually watched a few more episodes after him. Oh, who is it? Kanan?
Kanan, yeah, that's his name. I couldn't.
That sounds familiar. Well, we did see his master in the Bad Batch show get killed off as well.
Spoiler.
Wait, shoot! You haven't seen that?
But it makes sense though. They kind of allude that in the comics.
Scott, I'm so sorry.
Dude, it makes total sense because the Jedi Order 66. He even talks about that in Rebels. He's like, yeah, my master's dead.
Right.
And she's just like, oh,
I'm sorry. I thought you've seen it. My bad.
You're fine. You're fine, bro. I don't
Tristan
care.
Watched that first episode. The first episode of Bad Batch is an hour long. And I think it's actually 70 minutes long, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn.
But we watched it at like 3 in the morning when it first came out. Apparently all the shows come out at like 3 in the morning. It kind of sucks. Not for UK watchers though. You know, it's good for them, but it sucks for us, US watchers. But back to the show. Great intro to Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
First thing we see, what Obi-Wan's been doing. He's working at some type of he's got a job, but he's like cutting up meat. It's like some kind of creature.
It's like a slaughterhouse. It's like a mobile slaughterhouse. Like they kill a creature, and instead of moving it, they just like cut the meat there.
Right.
But and then
it looks like they go back day to day. I mean, like
it's massive thing.
I guess it makes sense for like a creature that size to deteriorate. It takes it must take a long time, but at the same time, that seems like highly unsanitary.
It kind of reminds me of it kind of reminds me of like whaling, like the old whalers. Like they get a big whale and they just process the meat and all that. And then actually putting salt on it, which I thought,
oh yeah, I did see that. Or like whatever.
Like they're actually not to preserve it.
So we do get to meet another Jedi. We didn't really find his name though. It's just some dude.
Nori? Something.
Are you sure?
Something. Yeah, it's like Nori. Something like that.
How did you come up with that name? Did they mention it?
He mentioned it. Like he's like, hey, he's like, no, you need to.
He met up with Obi-Wan later. Later at night,
and
he was like, "Hey, I need your help.
I need your help, Obi-Wan." I know. It's like, no, I'm Ben Kenobi. It's just like...
that is a name I've not heard in 10 years. It is 10 years from Episode 3, by the way, which is nice. Thank God they've given us some.
It is nice.
Yeah. I'm tired of having to figure this shit out, Disney. You know, like I'm trying. Like we're still stuck on how old Yoda is. You know, just by picking little crumbs at Episode 5 when he said thousands of years as he trained Jedi. And I'm like, okay, multiply this by this, and this is how old he is. Like, you know, taking into consideration how old Grogu is and this and that, you know. But it's a pain at this point, just trying to figure out the timeline and everything. But we've gotten this far, so it's not like we can't do it again.
Now, if you want a little more, I'm just going to do a little shout out, a little advertisement here. If you want a little more in between this show and Episode 3, I'd recommend reading the newest Vader comic book series. It just came out. I believe it's by... I would recommend, if you guys want a better fill-in from Episode 3 to the show, you've got to read the Darth Vader series by Charles Soule. The omnibus just came out. It's an excellent omnibus. All 24 issues. And it leads also into Rogue One. So that's a nice little bonus there, too.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's an excellent series. I do believe it's still canon. And, yeah.
I feel like most of the comics, when it comes to Star Wars, are canon.
Oh yeah. The only ones we're not sure about are the ones by Dark Horse, but I think those are like considered legends now.
Dark Horse does Star Wars comics?
Originally, way back, way back in.
Those sound fun.
Listeners, originally Originally, it was with Marvel. This is back like when
Yeah,
Episode
yeah.
4
I know
just
that it
came
was.
out.
I know that it originally was with Marvel, and then I think
Then
Marvel gave it up, and then they
they
replenishing it.
did because they were like really desperate for money. They gave up Star Wars and gave it to Dark Horse Comics. Dark Horse
It,
did like the books and everything. It was crazy, great time. Very dark though.
yeah, I
And
can
then only
imagine with Dark
until
Horse.
recently, it wasn't until when Disney bought out Marvel and Star Wars that they got the license back.
Oh, nice.
And they
That's
pumped
why.
out new comic book series. It's an
That's why.
excellent series.
I want to
Yeah.
start reading some Star Wars comics. I also want to start reading some of the Walking Dead comics. Um, recently, I'm pretty sure Marvel owns the Walking Dead comics, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm almost positive. Well, no, I am positive that Star Wars and The Walking Dead did like a collab, and there's some like short story where Rick wakes up in like a hospital, and it's in like a galaxy far, far away, and he's got lightsabers and like I think like a bionic arm or something. But like I kid you not, he's fighting with like a lightsaber. But I think he's fighting zombies still. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks cool. I couldn't tell you the name of it. I just know that they did some type of collab. But
After the show.
yeah, back to the show. So we did meet another Jedi. I'm sure we'll meet a couple more,
We
but
also meet the Inquisitors for the first
we
time.
do, as expected. I thought that they were gonna fix the Grand Inquisitor like they did with Sonic. They did not.
Nope.
Somebody on Reddit gave me hope that they did, but it was an edited photo. It was a Photoshop
Well,
thing.
Sonic was all CG, so they could just easily go back and fix him. He's
Well,
actually real. They've already reported this,
I
unfortunately.
mean, with a little bit of CGI, they can
Oh,
do
yeah.
anything on the fly. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
So,
I would love to know why. It's interesting because in the series we find out that the one of the girls, I think it's like third sister, um, one of the main ones, she has like this vendetta against Obi-Wan, and I'd love to know why.
I have a theory on that. She is literally,
You
quite
tell.
literally obsessed with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, and
My
it's because.
theory,
Go
because
ahead.
she is. No, I'm not trying to cut you off. I apologize. Um, my theory is that she's obsessed with trying to get on Vader's good side.
That makes a lot of
And
sense.
I've already had something spoiled for me. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but that only more or less enhances my theory, and we'll figure out most likely in the next episode, because it wasn't expressed in this episode. But I have a big theory that she's trying to get on Vader's good side and possibly like promoted. But Vader hates the Inquisitors as much as the next guy.
Oh, he does.
He
Yeah,
literally
it's
chopped
like
off one dude's arm, I think, in the comics.
his level of hatred is like Inquisitors, then like all the Imperial officers,
And
then
then Jedi.
everybody else, and then the Jedi. Yeah, he hates.
Yes, it's funny to put it that way, but it's true. Um, which begs the question. Well, not really, but like to the, I guess, not big of a fan. As me and you are, they might get it confused. Inquisitors aren't Sith, even though the Grand Inquisitor has Sith eyes.
Oh, that's right. They're not. I always forget
I
that.
feel like more or less the Grand Inquisitor might be more of a Sith than anything, because
I
I'm
think he
pretty sure the
is.
Grand Inquisitor, and then this is the same Grand Inquisitor from Rebels, and then I think they
Hmm.
gave us this info in Rebels that the Grand Inquisitor used to be a temple guard at the Jedi Temple. So if anything, he's more. That's why he's the Grand Inquisitor, because he's more trained than any of them, and
That makes a lot of
that much
sense.
more of being closer to a Sith than any of the others. They may have force wielding powers, but really, and they may wield lightsabers, but I feel like anybody with training can wield a lightsaber.
Oh yeah, even Finn in episode 7 did that. He was
Right,
just like,
and there were clones in the comics that wielded lightsabers as
oh
well.
yeah,
They weren't force wielders, and neither was Finn,
no.
but that doesn't mean that nobody can wield a lightsaber. Anybody can, as long as they have training. I mean, look at Rey. But shit.
Everything's getting scrapped today. We're holding back.
But yeah, I don't know where the Force powers come in. I feel like maybe they found children that have.
If
Force
I remember
powers
correctly, that's true. They do. That's one thing they talk about in the Vader comics, and I don't want to spoil that for you because it's an excellent issue.
I think I'm gonna start reading some.
Where Vader actually, he's actually tasked to hunting down this holocron, and on it, it's all these children that are Force sensitive. I don't want to spoil the ending, but it's crazy.
It sounds awesome.
It's an interesting ending. It's in that Charles Soule series. Yeah, so I thought, I do believe that some of the Inquisitors are like ex-Jedi or ex-Padawans that were twisted. I could be wrong about that as well, but I think a couple of them are.
Well, anyways,
well, that's right. We get to see Alderaan for the first time.
Oh yeah, we do. What did Siri? What did you think? Have you seen episodes 1 through 3?
Hi guys, sorry. No, I have not.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I have, and I haven't. It's been a really, really long time. I'm just kind of a stray that's wandered into this realm, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this stuff.
I remember I asked you if you watched 4, 5, and 6, and I pretty much said that's ultimately, I feel like, all you would really need to know. I really should have said you definitely watching episodes 1 through 3 would have helped. But I mean, you know that Alderaan was blown up in episode 4 though, right? If you remember.
Yes, that I do remember. Yeah. And I mean, I've got some familiarity with it, so I kind of understand the characters and the plot and where it's going. So it's holding my interest as kind of a newbie to the world, almost, I would say.
Very unique perspective we got.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Right?
It's kind of like you, Scott, when you first started watching Attack on Titan with me.
Yeah.
Season 4, nonetheless. Freaking Season 4. Scott literally started watching Attack on Titan in Season 4, not even watching Seasons 1 through 3.
No,
that's like, that's gotta be the best perspective ever, because everything that happens in Season 4 is literally nothing that you would have expected the main character to do, especially learning about him Seasons 1 through 3, but back to Star Wars. Yeah, so we do get to see Alderaan. It's very nice. It's very, I don't want to say hoity-toity, but like the word is everyone's rich if you live on Alderaan.
Honestly, I think it might be the closest planet to Earth in the Star Wars universe, because it doesn't have like that whole underwater thing that on Naboo. Right. It doesn't have the crazy city of Coruscant, that whole thing.
Coruscant is New York City if it merged with Detroit.
So I think Alderaan may be the closest planet, because I don't see any alien inhabitants or anything like that so far.
I noticed a couple, but I feel like it's more.
I feel like it's the closest one, because under you have the giant trees and the little Ewok.
Right. Yeah, you can't really call Endor Earth.
As a Southerner, I felt it was very like North Dallas. Kind of ritzy around the Galleria, Addison.
That's a very neat perspective, seeing as we're from the East Coast, from the East Coast. But yeah, I know a couple people have been, where you're talking about, and then their perspective was that it was like a small town or city or whatnot, and then just like wilderness like all around for miles. At least that's what it looked like on Alderaan, right there in that main city.
Which is basically Texas in a nutshell.
Really? Is there a lot of like wilderness in Texas? I figured there wouldn't be, if I'm going to be honest with you.
No, it's so big. There's just like a lot of land, and you pretty much get like all different things. Like you've got out west, you've got deserts, you've got marshlands, you've got hill country. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. It's just so big that there's just acres and acres of land for a long time.
That's very cool.
Wow.
Definitely don't want to go to Texas because I've heard it's like I've heard it's like 16 hours or 12 hours from one side to the other or something.
Yeah, it's one of
That
the
is
biggest
true.
states.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. It's just under 900 miles from the state line to
Holy
El Paso.
crap. I know
Yeah,
somebody.
California I think is like longer, but the biggest is still Alaska.
You
'Cause
mean
that's like,
Texas? You mean Texas?
no, Alaska's the biggest state. It's literally like half the size of the United States. If you take Alaska and actually put it next to USA, it's huge.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
We'll have to do
It's
some research.
Yes, that is true.
Oh crap!
That is
So it's
true.
bigger than
Yeah, because
Texas.
yeah, but it's like not as inhabited because it's like all
Right.
like literally like the forest and like it's like Siberia up there.
It's yeah. I've seen a thing or two about Alaska, the last frontier. But yeah, no, that's a neat perspective on Alderaan. We do get to see Bail Organa. It's the
Yeah,
same
and
actor from episode
it
2. I
is.
don't know his name. Welcome to ChaoticCorp. We do not know names here. That's
I'm so glad they
cool.
got him back. I thought that was really
Yes.
cool. And then Owen, we get more about
Owen
Owen and his wife.
I didn't really get a close up of his wife. I'm sure it's all the same actors. But
Oh yeah, and at least the ones they could get, like
right. I mean, it's just neat. And the little girl who plays Leia, I really like her. I feel like she's portraying Leia pretty accurately.
Yes, I agree because she's she does have the prim and proper side, but she's also got that rebel side in her. That fight, which is
Right.
true of Leia. I mean, if you
Right.
see her in episode 5 and 4, she's definitely got some sass to her, which I love.
I
She's not just
loved
gonna
the
lay.
little girl. She's like my spirit animal. I thought she portrayed that character perfectly. I loved it.
Yeah, we definitely needed to see a little bit more of young Leia, like in the original trilogy. But I mean, we're definitely happy with what we got, of course. But it's good that they're giving us this now, to only add more to like the character. So I'm definitely happy about that. Hopefully we'll see like Luke in this series.
I'm sure we will. If they're doing Leia, I'm sure we'll get to see a little bit of Luke. We've already seen a little bit of him. Him
Right.
riding, him pretending to be like it's like on a speeder or something.
Like,
That was funny.
What the heck, kid? I want to talk about Leia does get captured in this episode by what I'm assuming. I had assumed that they were bounty hunters of some sort, or pirates at the least, and only because she mentioned the word pirates. Like, obviously it sounds like they're kind of common around that area, but
And I think the reason for that is because the Empire is not allowed there. Like, I think they're like on their own. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, continue, Jordan, with what you're saying.
Good. No, I honestly couldn't tell you. We haven't really seen much of the Empire. It's mainly just like the first wave is like kind of like the Inquisitors. I mean, usually you would see like a couple, maybe like I was expecting to see some stormtroopers on Tatooine. I can't. I'm pretty sure that's Mos Eisley, isn't it? It's not Mos Eisley.
Yes,
It's Mos Eisley. Yeah.
It's most because that's where at least like the outskirts are very very close.
Right. So she does get captured, but I do want to talk about the whole scene where she was running away from them. I thought that was a bit silly because
that was a little silly.
What adult is not able to capture a child?
Listen, I taught daycare for 3 years. Children can outrun adults. I promise you, they can.
Okay. Maybe it's true then. That's scary. I don't know. It just seemed a little like silly to me that was like, why can't you catch her?
Well, I thought
But
they were like gonna tackle her or something. Like
yeah, I
that
don't
one, like
know.
he
I mean,
stood there. He was
obviously,
just like,
the actor's got to be a little bit, careful because she's literally a small child, in real life and stuff. So, obviously they have like a few restrictions and whatnot, but yeah. So, then you see Bail Organa contacting Obi-Wan, and he actually flies out to Tatooine and asks for his help. And Obi-Wan's literally trying to fight it because he's like, oh, I've basically lost my manhood. I'm not the same person.
yeah. I mean,
And
he's
I've got to protect Luke, which both makes sense, but you can't help but feel a little sad for him.
and he's still dealing with all that trauma of not only losing Anakin, but also Qui-Gon Jinn,
Yeah.
and just like how this is a failure of him. Like this, he failed, and that's
Right.
just like I cannot imagine going through what he did.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know what you mean. I felt really sad when he woke up. He was having like some sort of nightmare and started having like flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see him get up in like the middle of the night and call out for Qui-Gon, and I was like, oh man, that's really sad. And then Qui-Gon doesn't answer. Like, obviously, I don't think he's at that stage yet.
I don't think so either, but I do
I'm
think he will
sure.
talk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure we'll hear him talk to Qui-Gon eventually in this show, which would be cool because then that means that they would have gotten Liam Neeson to come back. Of course, I don't think they would have told us because I feel like maybe that would have given away something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, he may really start. I mean, he clearly has doubts. I mean, he might have really high doubts about training Luke. He's like, I failed one Skywalker. What's going to stop me from failing another one?
especially since
And then,
Owen like said that terrible thing to him.
yeah,
He's like, oh, like
yeah,
you've trained his, like when it
he
comes
trained his.
time, the boy needs to be trained. Like, oh, like you trained his father. Like go
Now,
burned up to a crisp. Owen, shut up.
does Owen? I don't think he knows that like Anakin is Darth Vader. I don't think anybody knows that.
Yeah, I don't think that he does,
And
but
if he does,
I think he does because I'm remembering back to a line that he said in episode 4, where he was talking to his wife. They were at the table. Luke was telling him, "I want to go, join the Empire," and he was like, "Okay, well, I need you for another season." This and
yeah,
that.
I'm gonna go out and like train with like my rebel, join the rebellion or something
Right.
like yeah.
And then he got up and left, and then he was saying he's too much like his father, and he's like, well, that's what I'm afraid of. So that might not be word for word exactly what he said, but I know it was something similar, and I can't help but think that he probably does know. Like Obi-Wan might have told him. Not a lot of people do know, but
no, not many. And those that do, like I remember in one issue, like there's one issue. I think like an officer saw him without his helmet on. He just like instantly snapped his neck.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that panel. He like Vader, had his helmet off, and he was just like looking really sad. Of course he had his like mouth covered with the oxygen, but he had his like eyes drooped down, and it looks like he was just like miserable. And then all of a sudden he just like snaps the guy's neck. And then I think the next thing out of his mouth, he puts his helmet back on. He's like, "Tell someone to pick up the trash in my room or something."
get this, get the like the mouse droid, working.
Right, it's terrible, but yeah, literally anyone who knows that Vader is Anakin dies, except for
Thrawn.
Master Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah.
He might know.
I think he does. I remember seeing something like lore-wise. Like, there's a lore channel that I follow, and there were some scenes in like some kind of comic book issue, and most of the comics are canon. So like he figured out that I don't know how he figured it out, but like he figured out that he was Anakin. You know what? I don't think he told him that he knew. I think that's the reason why he's still alive. Either
Yeah, he
that
probably
or Thrawn is so high ranking that Vader can't kill him.
right, and I think Ahsoka would know too. I think she has like some inclination.
Have you
She's
seen
like, oh
have you seen
yeah,
Rebels? Because Ahsoka's in there too.
I know. Well, I know that fight. I know that scene where they actually meet up and fight,
Okay.
and she lives. So
Right. Okay.
hope we get to see Yoda. I think it'd be cool to see Yoda.
I think it would be pretty cool. Maybe like the
Like
puppet.
yeah, oh, yo, the puppet.
Because we saw the puppet in episode like 8, if you remember.
I do. Oh my
Which
god,
was
that takes
probably
me
the best part
back.
about episode 8. No, but
Yeah, honestly, that throne room scene where they're just going at it, that was incredible.
No. In episode 8. Oh yeah, the throne room.
That,
Yeah. I'm sorry.
yeah,
When Force Ghost Yoda puppet Yoda comes out.
it's crazy. It's
So
hysterical.
I think it'd be cool to see Jar Jar Binks.
Oh,
On
he's
Coruscant.
a possibility.
On Coruscant.
That's
Remember that thing that I read you?
Yeah, he
It
becomes
was
like a
lore
jester.
accurate. Yeah, no, what? Yeah, he became a jester on because he was a senator, believe it or not. But then they got rid of the senators, and he became like some sort of like street jester, street entertainer on Coruscant. Most likely in the underlevels, I think. And there was this kid that was like left alone by his parents or something that was also homeless, and he decided to join Jar Jar, and Jar Jar basically like took care of him. They took care of each other. That was probably like the saddest thing that I ever heard. Like, I get it, we make fun of Jar Jar Binks all the damn time, but at the same time, like, this is like the worst outcome for him. So I don't know, I think it would be interesting to see him.
It'd be interesting to see if they do like any character like Mace Windu, like a if they do Mace Windu.
I doubt it. There's still so much speculation that they're going to bring back Mace Windu, this and that. But I just can't really see it happening. At least in any time in the near future, because they're doing Kenobi, and then now they're doing Andor. I mean, they gave us all these shows like last year or the year before, most likely like 2019 or 2020, the roadmap for Star Wars projects. And then, everyone was mostly excited for Kenobi. Then they came out with Andor. Andor is that guy from Rogue One that died. I don't know why they're making a show on him, because he's dead.
Yeah, it's like before that. I think it's like his rebellion, and then.
Oh no, it definitely is, because the trailer is out, and they showed like straight up clones in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, that's coming out that's coming out this year too, and then
nice.
Ahsoka and Mando season 3 coming out next year, 2023.
Damn,
which makes sense. I kind of like.
I was hoping that we would get Mandalorian season 3 this year, but because
I think they're spreading them out.
We have 2 more seasons, and season 3 is supposed to be left on a cliffhanger, and then it's gonna be by I almost said J.J. Abrams. I almost had a heart attack. It's gonna be by Dave Filoni, the original team, and Jon Favreau, but season 4 is literally gonna be Rian Johnson, and I could not be any more angry about that. Why they decided to give it to him, I have no freaking clue. The only person that I can blame is Kathleen Kennedy, but
we'll see if that sticks. That might change. You never know.
Hopefully. I also came into recent knowledge that I kept passing this around, and turns out it's a lie. I thought that Taika Waititi, however you pronounce his name, that did Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, and a couple of other great movies, it was going to be, I came to the knowledge that he was going to be directing a new set of trilogy movies, live action movies, when in actuality, and everyone was speculating that it was going to be based off of the High Republic, mainly because the books had come out around that time when the news hit that he was making a new trilogy. And the books and the comics for the High Republic are great. I gotta get back into them, but that knowledge is no longer feasible. Yeah, I'm using that word wrong. It's no longer good. That knowledge is not good anymore. What's
Valid.
really happening? Yeah, valid. What's really happening is he is directing a live-action movie, but the new trilogy that is coming out is going to be all, as far as I know, it's going to all be under Ryan Johnson. And Ryan Johnson, as you remember, did episode 8. And episode 8 did not do good at all. And I feel like
it's terrible.
Yeah, I want to give him some credit because I feel like J.J. Abrams, he did do episode 7, didn't he? Or was it somebody else?
He did 7 and 9.
Yeah, so
they should have let JJ do all 3.
They either should have let JJ do all 3, or possibly because I feel like they're on totally different wavelengths and directing movies. So I feel
it's interesting. Is that Rian Johnson? He actually is a good director. He did the movie Knives Out. It's excellent.
Oh yeah.
And I think if he's given like his own thing, he's going to do great. But they stuck him in there, and like I don't think anybody, if you put anybody in there except the director originally doing it, would have done as better a job. You know what I'm saying? Like you're kind of like throwing them to the wolves and like expecting gold to come out. It's not gonna happen.
Right. I'm trying to give him some credit and leeway here because I really like J.J. Abrams. He's done so many good movies. I feel like having him do episode 7 and then hey, Ryan Johnson, we're gonna have you do this episode 8. Right after one of the best actors did episode 7, and like you can't compete with that. So I maybe I'm just being a little bit too nice, but like I feel like you can't compete with that and being thrown in there with like your bare knuckles and nothing to fight with. So and then having the worst idea was for them to bring back J.J. Abrams to direct episode 9 after trying to fix the shit show that was episode 8 because of Ryan Johnson. So I feel like the new trilogy might be okay as long as he's directing all 3, but they need to not have different directors doing each and every episode. I can't now I can say that, but I honestly can't remember who directed the original trilogy, whether it was the same actor or one different director for each movie. I honestly can't tell you that, but I just only know about the movies now, so
I mean, like, now originally when George Lucas was making 4, 5, and 6, Steven Spielberg helped him, and like I think I think he even did like the last one, but George Lucas was still there. And I think if JJ was more like George, and if he was like literally like using Ryan as like his puppet, and like actually doing everything
or
he
like
wanted.
A co-director kind of.
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot better. Honestly, God, I don't think this will ever happen. But if they like redo all of 8 and 9, that'd be incredible.
They'll never do that, but
it never will unless they do like a Snyder cut. Like, hey, you want to see the J.J. Abrams cut? 6 hours long.
The J cut. It's funny because everyone's like, okay, these movies are no longer canon, and I'm like, I'm all for it if I'm going to be honest with you, but I just really hope we finally get out of, with the new trilogy, the Skywalker saga. I really want to step forward into the future. I would love some live action movies based off the High Republic, but only if they can do it right. And
honestly, I just want Revan. Just like do a whole series about him.
That's even like, I think that's even way before the High Republic.
Yeah,
though.
This is like Old Republic, High Republic, the Republic, the Empire, then like the rise of the New Republic. It's very
or the First Order and stuff like that. But
the First Order.
But yeah, no, I definitely just want something new. I want something still Star Wars and into the future, but like, it's like even with episodes 8 or 7, 8, and 9, like, oh, the Jedi are extinct still, and they're like a myth or a legend. And then
Yeah, it
you
would be
still have,
nice.
I mean, it would be cool to see like them bring it back, and then maybe them like not get extinct again, and that not be like a major like turning
Yeah,
point for the movie and like the main attraction for the movie, like it was for the original, the prequels. But um, I don't know. It's just we need something else, something not Skywalker, but
it
still
would be.
Star Wars.
It would be nice to see like the Jedi and like in their golden era, like they're like them fighting off the Sith and actually winning and
Yeah, because
doing well.
they nearly put the Sith to extinction during the High Republic era. So, but yeah.
Well, I'll be damned.
Okay. So we're picking off from episode 1, going straight to episode 2. We just watched episode 2, along with episode 1. Wow, episode 2 really blew me kind of out of the water.
Yeah, that
especially
was
the ending, but we'll get to the ending later. That's like the icing on the cake. I really don't like the seventh sister. She's kind of annoying.
I hate her. I hate her so much.
I mean,
I'm not that she's a bad villain at all, but I feel like it should be
annoying.
somebody. She's annoying.
She's very annoying to me. What they're trying to do was there was a little bit of a conflict in the middle of the episode, where you have the Grand Inquisitor, the other sister, and
Ninth sister.
There was a bit of a conflict between the seventh sister and the Grand Inquisitor, and they were kind of like arguing because she's really been like. If you thought that she was obsessed in the first episode, then like wait until you watch the second episode, because she's just like, she literally went from like 0 to 100 in less than like 24 hours.
Yeah, she is extremely determined to find Obi-Wan. It's almost annoying.
It is almost to a point of annoyancy, if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it's good that they're keeping the character true to what the character wants, but it's very annoying. Not that it's like a bad thing, but So, they were getting into an argument because turns out the bounty hunters that captured Leia from the first episode were bounty hunters that were paid off by the seventh sister. And they were like, okay, I'm going to pay you to go get her and lay a trap down for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which it did work. Like we said in the first episode, Bail Organa did go to Tatooine to talk to Kenobi. At the end of the episode, he did end up leaving Tatooine. In the past 10 years, he's been there, but, it's been 10 years since he's left. So then he does go. He does find her. And later on, they meet up with the Grand Inquisitor and whoever else, the other Inquisitor, meet up with the seventh sister, and he's pissed because she went against his wishes, and she hired bounty hunters to get involved and to kidnap a senator's daughter, which it was interesting that he got PO'd about that, and it kind of just makes me believe that what's that one line, criminals have standards, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain line you don't cross.
Right.
And also you're getting the Empire is now getting involved with other government, and if they're going to do that, that's going to start turning people against the Empire and their squeaky clean image. So you got to really keep, it's like you're kind of like.
It's weird to say that because like I feel like the entirety of the trilogy, the original trilogy, and whatnot, definitely viewed the Empire as like Nazi Germany, basically. Where they definitely knew that they were evil. I know that there were some people in the very beginning, based off of the Han Solo movie, that didn't think that they were bad, that they were just like, the police, they were,
Mm-hmm.
and then only to come to find out, I have no idea if anyone really knew that there was a Sith Lord, or if that even meant anything to people, like the word the Sith Lord. I don't think it really meant anything to people, but I don't really know if they found out that, like, oh, there's a Sith Lord in charge of the, the Galactic Republic, or the Galactic Empire.
Yeah, because originally, like I'm thinking back to episode 3.
Right.
They made the Jedi the enemy, and they're like, look, the Jedi have turned against the Republic. We stand for the Republic. This is who we are. Kind of like that. Like,
right.
Make the Jedi the enemy, make us the good guys.
Right. And
then I think later on people realize, like, oh, what have we got ourselves into?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, I do kind of agree with you there that they were like, okay, they were trying to, but how do you really explain like the Inquisitors? I mean, I guess like after a couple years, people start to realize that they are like a bad like force.
Mm-hmm. And if you say, look, these Jedi are like pure evil, we need to do whatever it takes to hunt them down. So like,
yeah, but you can only stretch that so far, and then like look at
absolutely,
they've stretched it too far within those first 10 years. I have no idea how far it took for Solo. I feel like Solo was in the first 5 years. So now that everything is out, you would watch 1, 2, 3, then The Bad Batch, because The Bad Batch is literally like minutes after episode 3, or hours rather, and then you would watch Solo, then Kenobi, and then Rebels, and then obviously Rogue One, and then 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth, which is really cool because there's always so many shows in between 3 and A New Hope, which is shows and movies, which is kind of cool now, but like we said before, they need to go into the future and stop messing with the Kenobi stuff or the Skywalker stuff. But yeah, no, they really stretched it thin because if you remember from the Solo movie, you had them doing like battles, going to like war and stuff, and I remember like the armor that they were using, and it wasn't like traditional stormtrooper armor. Like granted, they did have some stormtroopers, but like I feel like
oh, you're talking about that scene where they're on like that muddy, really mucky planet.
Yeah, and
that was just specialty armor. But yeah, you're right. There definitely were.
I feel like they would just use regular stormtrooper armor, because if you enlisted, that's what you're doing for the rest of your life. I feel like it's basically just like the military, unless that's like the lowest form of the Empire, and they literally just have them as grunts doing the heavy work, facing the wars, obtaining planets and territories, whereas the actual stormtroopers, they stand guard over territories that they've already won in battles and stuff. So that's to be continued at another time until we can get more information. But I just kind of feel like you would, Solo would be like in those first 5 years.
I admit though, I really love the second episode a little bit more than the first one because we get to see more of the Star Wars universe.
Oh yeah.
So like we start off like she's been kidnapped and Obi-Wan goes after her and he goes to I think we think it's Coruscant.
It's definitely Coruscant.
It's one of the lower levels.
Yeah.
And I love that because like you get to see the gritty underbelly of Star Wars, which we really haven't seen except for like episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
I don't remember seeing like Coruscant like that.
Remember the Death Sticks? Do you remember that whole part?
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I did say that we haven't really seen the underbelly of Coruscant, live action.
Not like this though.
No, not like this, definitely. Because like there was literally that one scene where Kenobi goes into some type of like drug dealing area.
Yeah,
and
Star Wars Breaking Bad.
Right, yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I did reference that when we were watching the show, mainly because I saw someone else make a joke about it, like, Luke, we need to cook. And it's funny, too, because he finally, he gets captured, kind of. He gets played into a trap, and he throws the spice on the ground. And here I am thinking that it's like acid or something, like airborne acid, and it's killing them, but really he just got them high. So there's that. But yeah, it definitely is gritty, more violent in a certain sense.
Yeah, I mean, like the first episode, that lady's hand gets cut off and that guy gets hung, and
Right.
this episode, the Inquisitors are killing people, and you definitely get a sense this is a darker series.
Right.
And Vader, we haven't even seen Vader yet. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Definitely.
But like, I cannot wait to see more Vader.
So we do get Leia back. And she doesn't believe that, Obi-Wan is Obi-Wan. Well, she doesn't know who Obi-Wan is. She just doesn't believe that her dad sent him to go get her. She, of course she's, a smart girl and she's got to look out for herself. But, there's only so much that you can believe after everything that's really happened to her so far.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually there's a situation where she is running for her life on the rooftops after... earlier we explained that the Grand Inquisitor did lay, or not the Grand Inquisitor, the Seventh Sister laid a trap for Obi-Wan to come out to Coruscant. She does eventually get, like we said, questioned by the Grand Inquisitor, and then she gets peed off, and then she decides, you know what, I'm going to go one step further and put Kenobi's face on like everything in Coruscant so that everyone knows.
Yeah, all the wanted posters.
Yeah, so then he gets figured out, and there are a couple bounty hunters, there's like 2, chasing him on the rooftops, and she's running, and then she falls, and then he has to use the Force to like grab her, and then basically after that she kind of trusts him and is like, oh, okay, you really are a Jedi, this and that. Speaking of Jedi, there was during the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh, he's a famous comedian too.
He is, but he was also in Eternals. I can't remember. Welcome to ChaoticCorp. We don't remember names. But anyways, he's in Eternals, and now he's in the Star Wars universe. I do like him though.
Yeah, he was perfect for the role they gave him. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah. So he was faking being a Jedi. He had remotes in his sleeve to basically make like windows shut and doors open and such. Jedi mind trick over a microphone connected, or like walkie-talkie type deal to talk to somebody else. Obviously, they're in on it too, so that he can help them get off planet. He's doing a good thing, but he's overcharging. He's charging in general people for his services, so he's kind of like a scumbag. It looked like he had a lightsaber of some sort, whether or not that was like fake, but like Obi-Wan does eventually confront him, and he asks, like this and that, and where's the girl? Or he called him a rat, and he was like, rats usually know like information on stuff. So
the rats know the suit's the best.
Basically, he does tell him like, oh, okay, go here, and Leia was there. That was the meth lab, or the spice lab, as you want to call it. So. That was earlier, and then he tries to play it off like, oh, you need to go into this ship. It's a freighter. You won't get recognized.
Yeah, much later, once he saves Leia and they're running from the assassins.
Yeah, he's like, you won't get recognized. It's mainly just for cargo. So, he eventually gets... he's like, I'm gonna try and buy you some time, and then he eventually gets confronted by one of the Grand Inquisitor, I keep saying that, he gets confronted by the Seventh Sister, of course, and she, thinks that he knows something, and she pulls a total Kylo Ren and reads his mind through the Force, and I didn't know that was possible, and I know you said that you didn't either.
Yeah, that was something I was not expecting at all.
Exactly. It's just kind of like Force healing. Like,
yeah.
I honestly do think that you had Ben Kenobi do Force healing on Luke after he was hit or struck by one of the Tusken Raiders in Episode 4. A lot of people are saying that that's what he was doing. But you don't really know. He could have just been making sure he was okay rather than Force healing him. But you get what you get. But they do end up going up to the freight car, ship, whatever you want to call it, and of course you have the Seventh Sister following them, and she's walking around taunting him, trying to get him to come out, and she says something that really freaking startles Kenobi, and she's like, he's alive, Anakin Skywalker is alive. And she was like, I'm going to take you to Vader. I'm not going to kill you. This and that. And he just really, starts getting the sweats because he's like, okay, pretty sure I killed him. But me and you were talking, and I didn't think, I thought that Ben Kenobi knew who Darth Vader was. Or maybe he didn't know about Darth Vader within those 10 years.
I guess he thought that he just died by the fire, like the fire just consumed him. He had no idea that Palpatine literally rushed in and saved him.
No, that's true, but you gotta think, did he not know about Vader within those 10 years?
He must have sensed his presence or did something. I'm telling you, those. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm just like, how can you not know that this guy this other Sith that just pops out of nowhere is
remember Vader?
Old Padawan.
Remember, Vader's not well known yet. That's still kind of an urban myth,
pretty much,
and he's still kind of in the background and that's where the comics come in because Vader, he has to work his way up. Even though he's already second in command, he has to build his notoriety. He has to
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. There was that scene in a panel in a comic book where he did go visit Padme at the temple.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering when that happened because I would love to see that in this show. I don't know if they're gonna do it, but I would love to see that happen.
I'm curious to see if they're gonna talk about how he got his, because in the comics, of course, Anakin does not have Darth Vader. Anakin does not have his lightsaber, and he has to go and kill a Jedi. Right. He has to go kill a Jedi to get his. So I'm curious to see if they'll even touch on that at all. So I'm curious to see because they could do a lot with Vader.
That's true. Yeah, no, I know they'll try and keep it, close as possible to the character and not screw it up. But
now, speaking of screw ups, I have a big. So, spoiler alert, they killed the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, it's so freaking soon. And
I'm like, if Rebels is canon, which I'm pretty sure it is, he dies in Rebels. He gets killed in Rebels, and it was a big deal because the main character, Ezra kills him, and it was a massive wow, it's the first time he's ever killed somebody, and it was a big deal. But in this, I don't think if he is dead, that's a travesty because that just ruins Rebels canon and other canon. So I think honestly they could do the old treachery oh, he's not dead, or
there's 2 Grand Inquisitors. There's somebody else, but I doubt that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jordan?
I mean, there is a possibility that he's not dead yet, and he's just like on the brink, and they might get him in time to resurrect him. Not resurrect him, but like heal him, kind of like
Back to tank.
Anakin. Yeah,
back to tank.
And just like they did with Fennec Shan. Or Fennec Shan,
yeah, and
where they had to remove like 90% of her lower torso.
And
replace it with mechanical parts. So that's what they could do. And
excuse me.
Never showed it in Rebels.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because they are kind of freaking up if they kill the Grand Inquisitor in this, and this is before Rebels. So.
Which I'm almost certain it is.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It 100% is. Because Ben Kenobi is old as crap.
Yeah, he's really old. He's like his episode 4 appearance.
Yeah. And then in this, it's only been 10 years. So and plus Darth Vader is already well known.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, that was my only big gripe with the episode, that like they did that.
That's
I'm like,
yeah, probably with mine as well.
I'm like, come on, like. But I'm curious to see what they're gonna do in the next episode. See if that continues,
right?
Or if that's just like the one come like one of the more loyal ones. He comes, he's like, we must get him to the back to tank immediately. Get medical.
Right.
And he's like, that's right. In his in his tank.
Obi-Wan, gets on the ship and flies out, and he started having like a mini panic attack on the thing, and he's just like, he whispers Anakin, and then it goes black screen, and then comes up and shows a pair of orange and red eyes, which is Anakin in the bacta tank, and you just see his head. His head is huge, by the way. It is it's obviously bald, but very swelled.
No eyebrows, which I appreciated.
Yeah, especially. The only other time that we've seen this scene is in Rogue One, and only for like maybe a second or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vader really likes this bacta tank because it helps him heal, kind of. He's out of that suit, and that suit is like, it really irritates him.
That's what I remember seeing.
And like helps him, like, I think like he can also eat too and stuff like that. Not eat in there, but like,
right. I think Palpatine literally designed it to cause like agony because it's got like needles in the suit and whatnot. I'm just wondering because like you have the fabric part of the suit, which makes me believe that it's like you just put it on like a normal like shirt and pants, but I know that's not true because 90% of his limbs are all gone. He has literally all robotic limbs at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's just like the material is on his legs, Really, the
may also
parts
be
of his body that are really getting like poked by microscopic needles would be his chest and possibly his head, but I'm not entirely sure about that.
And also his breathing might be very painful too. Like, when he breathes, I guarantee you that's not comfortable at all.
Right. So he literally like lives in his meditation chamber and his bacta tank. So that was really cool. That was probably the icing on the cake.
That was cool. So I'm glad I'm glad Vader's in it. Like, that wasn't like a...
What was your favorite part on episode 1?
Well, I have to say, seeing Alderaan, that was a pleasant surprise. I was kind of shocked they're doing Leia. I'm glad they are, though. It really is filling in a lot of nice gaps. Like, why is she calling Ben Kenobi or Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 4? This helps confirm that.
Right.
Like, this is a guy she can trust. This is a guy that can help her. She remembers that he helped her in her childhood.
If I'm going to be honest with you, she claims that she's 10 years old in this, and she seems a lot younger than 10. At least maybe like 7. But you also got to remember, realize this is probably the only, like, the last time that she will ever, like, see Kenobi, other than, like, episode 4. And then, even then, she barely sees him. Like, she might see him, like, die by the hands of Vader.
Yeah.
Which is also sad, but... Well, what about episode 2? Your favorite part?
I'd have to say that ending scene where you hear Vader's breathing and, like, Obi-Wan, and, like, they kind of, like, almost, like, lock eyes across the galaxy. Like, they both sense each other's presence. I thought that was so cool.
Right. My favorite episode in episode 1 is probably maybe, like, the conversation that Kenobi had with Lars.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
And then in episode 2, I might have to agree with you there as well. The Darth Vader scene where we see him, and like you said, it's almost as if they could really, like, sense each other. Because I'm sure he's on Mustafar at his castle. Otherwise, I don't really know where else he would be.
They actually, in the I keep talking about this comic book because it's so relevant. In the comic, they actually show like how he built it and like what inspired him. It's a really cool story. I don't want to, like, spoil it at all, but it's a really...
I think I'm going to start reading some Darth Vader comics. They sound great. But
well, the writer, Charles Soule, he really understood the character, which really helps.
Has he done all of them, or just like a good portion?
He did the prequel series, and then another guy did like another. I think he might have done both. I'd have to look it up for you.
Nice.
There's 2 excellent Star Wars Darth Vader series, and they both actually come out in omnibuses. So
great. I'll have to look it up. Okay, well, I think we're gonna close. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing episodes 1 and 2 of The Kenobi Show on the ChaoticCorp Season 9 podcast. We do stream from time to time. You can follow me at twitch.tv/HotPocket61. You can follow Apollo at twitch.tv/ApolloYourKing. Also, you can find him on the YouTube streaming. Scott, did you have anything you wanted to add?
You can find me here at the ChaoticCorp YouTube channel or on Instagram at SFSimpson21.
We also have a Discord. Go join that. We've got a little army. We've got more people joining. We do have a Reddit. We're on Spotify, Google Podcast, anywhere really where you get your podcast. We're reaching more out there. Even on this app called Reason.fm. And then you have Anchor, which is owned by Spotify or vice versa. But anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching and listening. Have a good night.